talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Lamar under center. Lamar under pressure. Wide open again. This time to number 88, Charlie Kolar for the touchdown. So all three touchdown passes to tight end.
Video last night as the Ravens. It was a blowout win. It just didn't feel like a blowout win. Other than the part where the Dolphins weren't very good. The Ravens win 28-6, and Charlie Kolar definitely intended to make it look like he was falling down there, so that no one. He said afterwards, no, that wasn't intentional for him to look like he was falling down. He just legitimately lost his balance there.
Tripped on the defensive lineman, yeah.
And then he said, but maybe I should think about that for the next time. Maybe the next time.
Whoa.
Yeah, right? Oh, look at that. Now it's touchdown. Yeah, Lamar Jackson back, throws for 4 touchdowns. And yet you walk away from it saying, and they could have been better. And they could have been better. Still, they win 28-6. They're 3-5, and they'll get a little mini bye this weekend.
Dolphins are a dreadful team.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder what the hell happened to the Falcons.
Well, the Falcons were playing with a straw man as quarterback.
I hear you,
but their
man,
defense was supposed to be good.
Correct.
And
like, they got gashed.
Yeah.
They got torn apart. And to be fair, and this is the part that's tough about last night, I think Jordan Brooks was trying to suggest all the Ravens did was in garbage time. There was a pretty bad – it's fine. You can find that clip of Jordan Brooks. It's on there. Remember, he spells his name with a Y, right?
I never trust a guy that spells – yeah.
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
I don't blame you even a little bit. Making this no sense. Yeah, it was Jordan Brooks after the game last night. And it's dumb, but then I'll react to it afterwards.
I thought they had a decent game, but a lot of that came towards the end of the game. Game was out of reach, a lot of garbage time, to be honest with you. I felt like we played well defensively in the first half, but like I said, turnovers, that kills you. Not capitalizing, not scoring when we could.
No. Like those first – the third quarter, obviously, in particular, when the Ravens just marched right down the field and gashed the Dolphins on that drive, that certainly wasn't garbage time. And they didn't score in the fourth quarter. Like, no, but if what his point was is maybe it wasn't quite as bad as it might look, like obviously after the, after Gilman recovered that fumble, the Ravens got the ball on the 7-yard line. So, like, that wasn't a touchdown drive
that helps, yeah.
that they gave up. So if his point
and it took
was
them 4 plays.
Still some issues down by
walking
the
the
goal
tightrope there.
Still some issues. So if his point was that, like, hey, maybe it wasn't quite as bad as you think it was for us, then there would be a point to be made there. But he made the wrong one because he suggested it was garbage time, and it's almost the exact opposite of that, which is that the Ravens didn't do anything in garbage time. They didn't add on in the fourth quarter, despite the fact that Lamar was still out there. And that's why when we say it was good, it could have been better. That's exactly, I think the best way, and Qadry's going to join us in a minute. Stan the Fan, by the way, I think I didn't even mention, is here, as he normally is on Friday.
I always
Yeah.
take the slights. I take the slights.
You're here on Fridays, so like we don't need to introduce you. Everybody
I'm a
knows.
piece of furniture to you. Yeah.
Well, let's be fair.
I'm an old comfortable, easy chair.
It's to me the most appropriate way to respond to last night is the Ravens did exactly what they needed to do. If this was the first game back for Lamar Jackson, then there's reason to be encouraged. There's still encouraging signs about the way the defense has played in recent weeks, but none of it is going to make you say, yep, that's the team that we thought before the season was going to go win a Super Bowl and could win 15 games this season. They're still okay. They're still a team that has a lot of work to do to prove they could win a Super Bowl.
I mean, the biggest difference to me, aside from Lamar, was 3 turnovers on defense. That makes all the difference in the world because, let's be honest, our defense really wasn't playing fantastic. They gashed us for
went down the drive.
several big plays.
This man, of course, a Super Bowl 35 champion. Now you see him on WJZ 13 as part of their Ravens coverage. He is our friend Qadry Ismail, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Qadry, I'm trying to walk the line between this was a really good win. They went on the road. They got the job done in Lamar's first game back. But I think we all know that there's still work to be done for this team to turn into a team that we believe can go win a Super Bowl.
The next 2 weeks is going to decide whether or not this team is for real or not. You're going to get back to 500 if you can go to Minnesota and play in a tough environment against a team that has its quarterback issues, but they have skilled players surrounding their quarterback. You go to Cleveland that has an amazing defense, but really struggles offensively. If you can go there and get a victory, then you'll put yourself in firm position of saying you're valid. Until then, yes, last night and the week before against Chicago, those are strong wins. Everyone is kumbaya. That's awesome. But to be back in that upper tier conversation, these next 2 weeks are going to be pivotal.
Qadry, I want to get your thoughts on what you saw from Lamar in his first game back. Obviously, he was efficient. He throws for 4 touchdowns. He only really took off once. The first one appeared to be kind of a busted play on I don't know if that was an option that didn't go the right way. But I wonder what the line is at this point between was he not taking off because of the hamstring or was he not taking off because this is the new Lamar Jackson where he just wants to hang in the pocket and let plays develop and find receivers downfield?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the option one was just the defense doing what the defense does against an offensive line that's not very good.
Yeah.
And they were able to penetrate. And now, as opposed to the defense being put in conflict and trying to figure out whether or not it's Lamar or Derek or Justice Hill or Keaton Mitchell, I think it's where now they're like, we can penetrate now. What do you want to do? I think the other scramble was just a great scramble by Lamar. It was interesting after the game. He was like, he thought it was a D lineman, so he was taking it for granted, and then realized it was a linebacker. He's like, man, I should have went into 5th gear. So rust, I would call it. That's where I refer back to my original statement of the next 2 weeks, because while you had some rust going on early on and throughout the game, I think as we see this next period of time, which is a little mini bye, but this next period of time will prove to give him further healing and the explosiveness will continue to grow. As it relates to, Glenn, when you say, is this the new Lamar where he's just going to stay in a pocket? I think it's about Lamar being elusive to allow for the second act of the receiver play to be enacted. Because he was hurt Lions week, I think from the Buffalo week, because he was hurt, even if it was Buffalo, he wasn't exactly sharp versus the Browns either. And then obviously it culminated into the Kansas City Chiefs game. But I think it's a situation where for Lamar, his body of work, if he is in that short space or tight space quickness mode where he can buy his guys time, oh my God, look out. Because we saw that the way he was able to get the ball to Isaiah Likely, we saw that when he threw in the red zone touchdown pass to Mark Andrews, and then we saw it again when he threw the last touchdown pass to Bateman. So if he extends a play with his quickness, that's not hanging around in the pocket. I mean, that's like brilliance. That's, sitting there and being Picasso or Michelangelo and be like, you can't do anything about it. And I got skill guys that are on the same page with me.
Qadry, we've waited the whole year, and we understand that Likely was hurt, but we waited the whole year for the tight ends to play a significant role. Was it something that the coaches saw, or Todd Monken saw, that the Dolphins would give the Ravens? Why all of a sudden such an impactful game from all three tight ends?
That's such a great question and great observation. I think the one thing that happens when you have Cooper Rush in there, his skill set is not one where you're going to be able to extend a play, and it's based on rhythm and timing. There were like these tiny, tiny glimpses of him being able to get the ball out to Mark Andrews and Charlie Kolar. But when you saw Isaiah Likely, I was sitting there in the game against the Texans screaming at the top of my lungs like, oh, my God, if you just get the ball out to Isaiah, you're going to be like living large, and people in Baltimore are going to love you as the ultimate backup. He wasn't able to do that. So I think it was always there within the offense. It wasn't necessarily that Tom Monken or Lamar Andrews. You might as well follow Lamar Andrews. But Lamar Jackson, it wasn't about those two so much as it was the tight ends have always been there. Now that you have those two, knowing that they're there and knowing that the offense fits what they all do, that's where you see what we saw versus the Dolphins. But it's always been there. Now, next 2 weeks, I'm going to be a broken record. The Vikings and the Browns. Those are the two games where we're going to see whether or not this offense can hold form, and it all starts up front with the offensive line.
Qadry Ismail with us here on GCR. Qadry, you bring up the offensive line. I posed this question to a couple of folks yesterday, but we know that Tuesday is the trade deadline. It feels like the three biggest areas of need for the Ravens, personnel-wise, would be edge rush, defensive tackle, and, as you point out, offensive line, and particularly the guard position. If you were to prioritize those three, how would you rank those three in terms of what the biggest needs would be for the Ravens moving towards Tuesday and the deadline?
I am bullish on improving the offensive line. I think if you could improve the offensive line, that's so critical to the strength of this team, which is the offense. I think if you can then get a D lineman, and we'll see what Lawson is all about when these next 2 weeks come about. But I would love to have them just do some next level trade and get Quinnen Williams from the Jets. Like, okay, just do that and I will love you forever. If you don't do that and you get some dude that's just a dude, then all right, what are we doing? So there's some offensive line play there that needs to be addressed first. But if you get a stud like Williams, mother of pearl, okay, I'm living large with it.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right with that, too. Quinnen Williams obviously comes with a hefty salary, but there's a reason why he comes with a hefty salary, because he's really freaking good. And clearly the Nnamdi Madubuike problem stands out for the Ravens, even going beyond this year. Quinnen Williams has one more year before he could opt out. So you would assume that would be something they would do to address should Nnamdi Madubuike not be able to return next season. Qadry, I assume it's the same feeling that you have when I bring up, the defense in general. We have seen now 3 straight weeks of them looking much better than the unit that was abused to start the season. Last night, they were gashed a little bit, but came up with the big plays when they needed to, and then were helped out, obviously, by a missed field goal. What have you made of how the defense has changed, particularly the significance of Kyle Hamilton being in the box now?
Well, I think that's something that I was talking to one of my other colleagues, and I think Darius Washington's injury, as we are seeing, really set back what Zach Orr wanted to do with this defense all along. I don't think Malachi Stark was the guy that is in the box or up around the line of scrimmage or being that guy. But if it was Ardarius and it was Kyle and it was Starks, I think that triumvirate would have been what would have helped this defense. I think with the Alohi Gilman trade, it settles the defense. And, yeah, you say they were gashed, but I also say, yeah, there were key turnovers.
Yep.
In the Bears game. There was a key stops and turnovers, obviously the Nate Wiggins interception. And then in this game with the 3 turnovers that were created. Those were plays that were needed and critical because while the offense is the offense and does what it does, there is nothing like a short field, a quick turnover, and the ball is in Lamar Jackson's hands, and that opposing team's defensive coordinator is like, oh, shoot, now what do I do?
Qadry, 2 players that didn't step up early in the season, and I wouldn't say they've been totally outstanding on that defense, but they seem to be growing leaps and bounds, are Mike Green and Teddy Buchanan. Could you talk a little bit about their maturation process right now?
I think for Teddy, who got Rookie of the Month, it's been one of a real fast learning curve. Mm-hmm. And for him, I see the processing of things. I am a little bit, I don't know, I'm picky in that, okay, you got the award, man, well-deserved because obviously you've been put in such a tough situation and you've been able to do your thing. However, whether it be in the passing game and or whether it be being able to shed blocks and then diagram plays, that's been kind of the, okay, we need more improvement because when you go up against the upper tier guys, the Josh Allens, the Pat Mahomes, and heck, we might be looking at them facing Aaron Rodgers not only twice in the regular season, but perhaps in the postseason, who knows. But the point is that upper tier quarterbacks, Bo Nix, upper tier quarterbacks, you're going to see Drake May, and we know he's been playing really well. So the story isn't written. Whereas Mike Green, I think for him, it is a case where the more he plays and gets experience, the more swagger he has. And I think that bodes well for what the defense is trying to do when it comes to creating pressure. I think he does a fine job of being able to pursue, get off blocks, as well as make critical stops. We saw that in last night's game, and we also saw that in a game against Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Qadry, I don't think I've ever asked you about a punter before, but I really do think that Jordan Stout, who we've all been critical of over the last few years and hasn't been Sam Cook, obviously, knowing that's a high bar, the last couple weeks and particularly last night, to me, this is the best we've seen out of Jordan Stout.
Yes, it is. and not superstitious, but I'm not going to talk about him because he's doing so well. I'm just
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I mean, that was the whole problem with him for the past 3 years. Was Glenn was talking.
That's a good
about
point.
him.
Yeah, just shut up. Just shut up and let him punt. Qadry, hey man, remind everybody about missile training.
Yes, missile training. You can go to missiletraining.com for your human movement and sports performance training. And I would love to interact with you and give you an understanding of why missile training is different from traditional ways of lifting, moving, and functioning as a person, as a human, as an athlete. Doesn't matter the sport, if you're an individual or if you are a female or male athlete, I got you covered. Let's go. Let's get you better.
What if you're an old man like me, Qadry?
My oldest client is 86, so I don't know about you, but if you have a mindset of wanting to be with longevity and not have your health span be all broke up, unlike Glenn, who is a young man but got an old man's body because he doesn't have the longevity health span mantra. He talks a good game, but he doesn't follow through.
Yep.
Then
You should see him hobble in here each show.
yeah, it's pathetic. It really is. But I love him. He's an awesome person. I'm just holding his feet to the fire and saying how pathetic it is that he has understanding and wisdom, yet he won't use said understanding or wisdom.
I love you, pal. I will talk to you soon. I am Qadry Ismail. Always appreciate you,
He's
buddy.
got to go to the bathroom real quick right now,
Thanks for
Qadry.
hopping on with us.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Love you, man. That's Qadry Ismail. He gets on me every time. Every time he sees me,
You're
he
pathetic.
is on me. On me.
Did you hear that, Griffin? Do you have that tape?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
He's
no different than
pathetic.
it's no different than every other time. It's no different than every other time. I walk in, he sees me, and I don't get out to the Ravens as much anymore. But when I was over there, we go watch practice together, and he just every 5 minutes. And then Qadry really is watching and taking notes and really invested. And then out of nowhere, he just look and he'd be like, "And you're still okay with just being skinny fat, huh?"
Skinny fat.
He just.
Is he still in as great a shape as he was?
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. You look at him and you're like,
How old is he now? Like 50,
When they needed receiver help a couple
51?
years ago.
yeah, I mean, it's unreal. I just did the game with him, the Ravens high school game of the week a couple weeks ago, and he shows up, and you're like, dude, you look younger than.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who they brought out some active players that night. They brought out
He's 54.
I don't remember who it was, but he looks younger than them.
Yeah.
My God, it's unbelievable.
Missile training.
His
huh?
55th birthday is in a week.
50.
Remind me of that so I don't forget the.
Missile training, it's called?
Yes, missile training. Up in Bel Air. Good man, Qadry Ismail. Always appreciate him. And if you missed any of the Project Game Day post-game show last night with myself, KZ, Stecca, Rita, and Tyus Bowser, you can
KZ
find
was there.
KZ, the whole crew was there. Griffin was there. Griffin was filibustering when I asked him one question.
Josh Charles there?
Josh,
He's been MIA, hasn't he?
Josh was texting me all night. And I assume that meant...
What part of the world is he in?
I don't even know where they're filming. You know, it's funny. I have not asked him because I know they were actively filming last
They're
night.
about an hour and 20 minutes from New York City, but
That's-
I don't know exactly
Yeah.
whether it's north, south, east, or west.
When Josh starts texting me during the game, I assume it's because he wants me to send him the link to
Right.
hop on the show. But last night it was just he just wanted to talk.
He's
he
never
just wanted to
been. He's
talk.
never been this tired.
Oh,
He's
it's
working.
crazy. Yeah, he's explaining it to me.
He says he's in like every scene.
Yeah. It's I can't wait. I can't wait
I
to
mean,
see
I
it.
said to him, I could do some.
It's a
of
great
the
point.
scenes,
You could
know.
basically stand in for him. I mean, like,
virtually, a lot of people always said I looked exactly.
I don't know how he would tell you apart.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would be the case.
He hasn't asked though.
But if you missed any of it last night, you can find it. Go to facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Project Game Day, every game day, immediately following the game, PressBoxOnline.com/game day. It's brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, as well as 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn, and Live Casino and Hotel. stand those three positions: defensive tackle, true defensive lineman, edge rush, and offensive line. The trade deadline is Tuesday. And we certainly understand the players have to be available. It's not as simple as picking and choosing. But if all things were equal, what would your priorities be for the Baltimore Ravens as far as acquiring help?
I think I'm like torn between the edge rusher and the defensive lineman.
Okay.
Because I think they were a little better against the run. But I
thought Travis Jones was very good. It was tough.
I thought
there was a lot of guys that I felt bad about.
Yeah.
But those two positions are the ones,
It's interesting for me because
what do you think?
Well, if we just blindly rank the three positions, I still think I'm a little bit more towards edge rush. Then I would go offensive line, and then I would go defensive line. And part of that is just my history with the Ravens, finding some defensive tackle that no one thought anything of, and all of a sudden they're here for 5 years, and they become a significant part of what this franchise does. Like, if we talked about these two guys, Brandon Williams was a third-round pick, hell of a player.
Right.
Michael Pierce was undrafted. And I think we think of them about the same way. Like, we think of them as both having had really good runs and being pretty high-level players for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not trying to knock Brandon Williams, or I just think that's the way we think of them because I think the Ravens have had a history, aside from Haloti Ngata, who we all know was, otherworldly, maybe not Hall of Fame, but probably more of a Hall of Fame argument that people realize there is, and perhaps where Nnamdi Madubuike was trending towards being. Outside of those guys, it's just a litany, a history of finding defensive linemen anywhere. So, we can kind of make fun of John Jenkins, but look, John Jenkins is making plays. And I do think they need more depth, but to me that depth, if you can find, to the point, Qadry brought up Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams is sort of two birds with one stone. He helps you as a defensive tackle, but he's also going to help you in getting after quarterbacks. And so if you can find that guy, I'm all for it.
Right.
But edge rush, and I think Qadry's right, man. Like, the offensive line thing,
Still can't get over that last year they were very, very effective offensive line.
And Ronnie Stanley's still banged up. Like,
that's who scares me.
Yeah.
Is that he's come out of games a couple times this year.
Now, last night, apparently, it wasn't injury that they brought him out in the fourth quarter. They just sort of said,
"Oh yeah,
like we've been through enough with Ronnie Stanley."
Right.
And so somebody would say, "Well, if you did that with Ronnie Stanley, why are you leaving Lamar in the game at that point?" But the argument would be he's working his way back. He wants the reps. I get it, but there's also a part of me that maybe thinks, hey, if Ronnie Stanley's not on the field, maybe you don't need to have Lamar Jackson on the field. Maybe we can just go ahead and skip that part. But yeah, I get it. I get that. Emory Jones, their third-round pick, could still be in the equation at some point. But I don't know.
Where is he right now in terms of his coming back?
He was just finally cleared
to
like
resume football activity.
Yeah, but it's been like at least a week now, though, right? Like I think it was sometime over the bye week.
They activated him before the Bears game, but they had said before that he wouldn't be cleared for that game. Like he wouldn't be cleared for a football return. So I don't think.
Well, so it's a 21-day window, right after they.
So they had to activate him.
Okay.
Because they had started his practice window
before the bye.
This is the eternal question: why did you start the practice window so quickly if he wasn't cleared to play football yet? And it's a fair question, and what it means about the injury, I don't know. But they did activate him, so they clearly don't think his season's over. They clearly think he can help at some point, but when that might be, I don't know. And can you count on that? I struggle with that. I struggle with that.
This Viking game is hugely important.
Yes.
But Qadry left out, he kept pointing to the Browns, but they also have the Jets, right?
The next but no, they go to Minnesota, to Cleveland, then home against the Jets.
Yeah, that's 3 games that are eminently winnable, right?
Well,
now.
I think every game at this point they can only afford to cough up like
You look at the Patriots and the Packers in late December. Like those are the two winning teams on the schedule. I mean, the Steelers have a winning record as well, but we all think a lot differently about them. So,
but they can't afford to.
No.
I mean, they have to win almost. You want to win the division. We can joke and say none of these other teams are getting to 10 wins, but you need to make sure you get to 11 wins to feel comfortable to win the division. That only gives you the comfort of losing one game the rest of the way. If you lose 2, to your point, Griffin, it better not be any of the division games. If you lose 2, it better be like the Patriots and the Packers. Now, if that's the way it plays out, none of us are going to feel comfortable.
They have to beat the Steelers twice. There's no question about it.
I think so, with the caveat being that, like, I don't know how good the Steelers are.
Yeah, I don't think they're very good. I really don't.
It might be that if you split
They'll
with the
play
Steelers,
great this week because I took the Colts.
Good point.
-3.
That's a good point. That's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt you.
But we both have a W on the board
It's true.
this week.
Both were on the
Kansas now 3
We're
games
over
back.
500 now. We're over 500.
Look at us. Look at us making money. I was on VSiN last night, and I said under, Ravens to cover, Derrick Henry over. So I was feeling really good about myself, but then I also had Keaton Mitchell over 14 yards.
See, the tough thing is, I think early in the week it was like 10.5,
Yeah.
and then
What did it finish with, 11?
11,
11, yeah. 11. So that was a bummer. And I actually had even suggested maybe taking an alternate number and bumping that up to like 20 so you can get even better odds. But wasn't meant to be. Was not meant to be for Keaton Mitchell last night. But everything else worked out pretty well for me.
Maybe if you had you have done like rushing and receiving Keaton Mitchell, would that have?
What was the over/under on that game? Like 41?
50, I think. I want to say
50?
it was an outrageous.
Because they had played so well last
Yeah,
week.
it was an outrageous number.
He had 7 receiving yards, Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah.
So 18 total.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't.
then if you factor in his return yards,
Right, but you don't do that. That's the thing. The thing is you don't do that, Griffin. You just take your L and move on and say you can't win them all. That's the way that it goes. CountySports.zone is where you find everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We're getting closer to championship season in fall sports, and they're going to have you covered. Brackets, updates, big football games coming up. They've got you covered. Everything you need to know, CountySports.zone. Get me your pats on the ass. We'll go over those later. What Ravens are most deserving of praise for their performance last night. We will talk about that before we get out of here today. When we come back in, haven't had a chance to chat with Stan about the new manager of the Baltimore Orioles.
They named a manager?
They did in the middle of the World Series. So
Buck Showalter's coming back?
It's not Buck Showalter.
It's Pujols then, right?
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it when we come back in. Stan's here, Friday edition of the program.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area highest dairy store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
The 4th and 1 where Larry Bourne was called for the false start. What was your understanding of what happened there as far as to
I would say with the Ravens fans, it maybe got a little muffled with my cadence and the crowd noise. So we kind of talked about that on the sideline after and got that corrected.
That is rough.
We talked about not being discouraged.
That is rough. Look, this is not unique. Every team's fan base.
Place was a morgue. It was.
Well, every team's fan base that sees, even if the Dolphins are good, you look at the schedule for the season and you say, well, I could go to Cincinnati for a game or I could go to Miami for a game. I think I'll choose Miami. It's always a very popular destination for road fans to travel to Miami because, it's Miami.
A lot of topless bars.
I don't know about bars. I think
topless
beaches, of course.
Like Solid Gold.
Okay. Oh, got it. Yeah, I think the
not tapas bars.
No. I'm saying that's more Tampa. Tampa is more.
Tampa has a world famous place called Mons Venus.
Yes, and I believe per capita there's no city with more strip clubs than Tampa. I believe that's the case.
I knew it was famous for something.
Exactly, and basically nothing else. Yeah.
It's one of my great Craig Heist stories.
Oh, the Super
was
Bowl.
at Mons Venus.
Oh yeah.
You
guys were there offering rides home.
I had the car.
Yeah.
And he disappeared. Lord knows where he was. I don't like to speak ill of those who have passed. Of course. But I got tired of waiting, so I had to page Craig Heist.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
No, you didn't. I hope it was the DJ that did it. And one song warning for Genevieve and also Craig Heist, if you are here this evening.
Your ride is ready to roll.
So tomorrow is Craig Heist's funeral, and I'm heartbroken that I can't be there because
it's not the funeral; it's a
memorial service. Thank you. Tomorrow is Craig Heist's memorial service, and we've celebrated Craig the last couple of weeks. One of our favorites. I love you, buddy. Safe home. A wild Tua. Every time Tua talks, you just never know what he's about to say. Said, it was just really tough for us last night because.
Ravens fans.
All of the Ravens fans made it impossible for us to hear.
Well, he said it so matter-of-factly, too, like it's a valid excuse.
Yeah, right? Like, dude, it's the way it goes sometimes. That's a tough scene.
That's what happens when you come into Baltimore to play.
The thing about
he
that,
thought
Stan,
he was in Baltimore.
Yeah. Stan, one more baseball show for you guys on Monday to wrap up the season.
That's right.
As Stan, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson will put the finishing touches on the World Series this Monday. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. As always, Stan shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium at the Grandstand. Stan, in a couple minutes, Tom Hamilton, legendary Guardians play-by-play voice, is going to join us to talk about the Orioles.
Hall of Famer.
Went in this summer to talk about Craig Albernaz, the new manager of the Orioles.
Yeah.
I know you were as surprised as all of us were.
Yep.
When we all got this news on Sunday night.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Luis Rojas or Luis Pujols.
Yeah, I don't think it's Luis Pujols.
No,
but
what is it?
Albert
Pujols. Albert Pujols. Yeah.
But your reaction to Craig Albernaz as the next manager of the Orioles?
My first thing was to look at the background. I'm a huge fan of Stephen Vogt.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan of his since he played for the A's, and the crazy Oakland A's fans who don't exist anymore.
Right.
You know, they dissipated. They used to have a chant out there. I believe in Stephen Vogt.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started following him, and I thought he was going to make a really good manager, and he has made a very good manager for his 2 years with Cleveland. And right by his side has been Craig Albernaz, and it turns out the two of them are best friends. They played together in the Tampa Bay organization, and then when Albernaz was the bullpen coach with the Giants, Vogt came over to play for the Giants in 2019. So there's a history of that relationship. I like the fact that he's been part of Tampa and Cleveland, which is the two organizations that are really about developing players. And I think that's really one of the sins of this organization is they haven't been very good at developing their own.
I think there's lots of positives about Craig Albernaz, and we talked to a couple of folks that know. Kurt Cavalli, the former Giants catcher, joined us this week and was raving that he's the best human being that he's ever known in baseball, and they've been close friends for a long time. And I think there's a lot to like. There's also the reality of you do not have time to grow into this job. Like, this is the difficult part, and the reason why so many of us were convinced this needed to be a cached, experienced manager is you don't get – there can be no learning curve here. This is the reason why the job's available, is because the team wasn't winning. You have to win now. This is the window.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to win now. And so if there's a learning curve, if there's a couple of bumps, that's going to be a problem. And I get it. That can happen to a veteran manager the same way that it can happen to a first-time manager where you go through a down period. But I think the odds would say it's more likely to happen to a first-time manager where you're just sort of growing into the organization, growing into the job, and they can't afford that. It also, to me, puts the spotlight is very much on Mike Elias to me. Like, this is
in more ways than one. In other words, the first thing to me is how much input is Craig Albernaz going to have in assembling his coaching staff. The coaching staff shouldn't be about having potential snitches or insiders for the GM. It should be about getting the best people that the manager deems that are good communicators at improving the ball club.
And worth noting, we know that at least two of the hitting coaches will not be back already. And I would say the second part that's interesting to me is that was sort of lost in the news is that the Orioles aren't going to hire the general manager this offseason. And Mike Elias did allude to that possibility during the end-of-season press conference that, yeah, maybe we're not going to hire a general manager.
Right.
But he was also trying to interview general manager candidates. So
supposedly.
I mean, I don't think that was made up. That was how he found out that he was promoted from general manager, is because everybody was saying, hey, we got a call that they wanted to interview this person to be the general manager. So I do wonder if there's any part of that that's saying, hey, look, man, it's all on you. It's all on you. You get to hire your manager. This is the guy you want. But if this doesn't work, there's no third manager here. There's no, this is going to live or die based on you at this point. And so that's interesting to me.
I think it has to play out to see what the win-loss record is before I would determine that he won't get a third bite at the apple. It's unusual, but look at A.J. Preller. A.J. Preller is smoke and mirrors. He's constantly making moves and this and that.
Going one way, then going the other way.
And
right.
then they go, and he's had now, I think this might be his fifth manager.
It sounds right. With the caveat being that they have done a fair amount of winning, even if they haven't gotten to a World Series yet.
Yeah.
They have done a good amount of winning, and that would be my point. Like, if there's success for the next couple of years, but it's not a World Series, I do think that's different.
Yeah.
If it goes south,
if it goes south, he
yeah.
won't be around to make the next managerial hire, I doubt. You know.
But look, I hope that everything that folks have talked about related to development, that he's got to fix Adley Rutschman immediately. Like, that's got to be before you even get to know. To me, that would be the first thing I would try to do as manager. It's like, hey, Adley, where are you? Can I come spend some time with you?
Yeah.
Can I come? Maybe we bunk up together for a week, right? Like, let's go.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like, let's just go get a. We'll go rent a house somewhere.
There's no questioning that is job one. You know.
Like, this is the biggest responsibility to me of hiring Craig Albernaz, a former catcher, is you've got to get into the psyche of Adley Rutschman, and you've got to earn his trust that he's willing to work with you and prioritize you over his own people this offseason and try to get Adley Rutschman back to being Adley Rutschman. That would be priority number one.
Yeah.
Let's find out a little bit more about the Orioles' new skipper. Our next guest, the Ford Frick Award winner for this year, Hall of Fame play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Guardians. It's a pleasure to welcome Tom Hamilton into the program. Tom, it's Glenn and Stan here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Well, my pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, and hope everyone's doing well.
Tom, if we just put it broadly, right, what should we know? We still know very little. We know he has an incredibly thick Boston accent, but we still largely know very little about Craig Albernaz. They can't introduce him until the World Series is over. What should we know about the Orioles' new manager?
Well, it's a good question, Glenn. And, he was only with us for 2 years. He and Stephen Vogt are best friends, and they had come up together through the Tampa Bay Rays organization as catchers. So it's kind of ironic in a lot of ways. They were competing against each other as catchers in the Rays minor league system. Then they both interviewed for the manager's job here in Cleveland when Tito retired, and Vogt got it. But it tells you something about their relationship, that even though Albie didn't get the job, he was more than happy to come along as the bench coach. And I think the proof is kind of in the pudding, Glenn. I mean, I don't know how you find anyone that wants to try to follow in the footsteps of Terry Francona. I mean, he's as good a manager as I've ever seen in my 36 years in the major leagues, and he will be in Cooperstown after he's decided to quit managing. And yet, Vogt came in here along with Craig Albernaz and the rest of the coaching staff and won back-to-back division titles. So I think that says a lot about what they were able to do as not only a first-time manager, but really a first-time bench coach working that closely together. So he really knows the game. I think we've seen it time and time again, how critically important it seems to be to have been a major league catcher or a minor league catcher or whatnot. They just seem to see the game differently. And I think we see so many very successful managers that were catchers. I just think Albie, has got that kind of personality that players gravitate to. He's not intimidated by anybody, whether it's Jose Ramirez or anyone else. And yet he's got a great relationship and a great way of putting guys at ease, having fun with them, but being serious when you need to be serious. So, I think the Orioles made a great choice. To me, Baltimore was in a win-win situation. I'm a big fan of Tony Mansolino. He was a longtime minor league manager and coach in our farm system. My son played for him in the minor leagues, and I know how much he thought of him. And I thought Tony did an incredible job with the Orioles when he took over last summer. So I thought Baltimore was in great hands, whether they stayed with Tony or went with Albie.
What do you think Albie's strongest points are? You've already made the case, Tom, that he's sort of a real people person, but is he going to outwork a lot of other managers?
I think so, Stan. I think those guys, and maybe I'm being too broad about it, but I believe the guys that had to work for everything they had to get to wherever they got at whatever level in pro ball, I just think that's ingrained in them from what they went through when they started out in the minor leagues. And Elby did not catch in the major leagues, but, he had a long playing career, and you don't stick around that long in the minor leagues if you aren't a good player. And so I just think nothing's ever been handed to Elby, and that's the same way here. I mean, he could have had jobs last winter, Stan, after 1 year as Voters bench coach, and just pulled himself out of the running for a couple of those jobs because just didn't feel right. So you knew he was going to have choices this off season of jobs that were open. And I think the one thing Voter really ingrained in him, as did Cleveland's front office, Elby, you're going to be a major league manager someday. Make sure it's the right job. I know, guys, we can sit here and say there's no such thing as a bad job. Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Look how many guys have had one shot as a major league manager, took the wrong job, never got another shot again, and that isn't always fair. So, yeah, I just think you've got a guy that, work ethic is certainly not going to be an issue.
The legendary Tom Hamilton is with us here on GCR. Tom, in talking to both Kurt Cavalli, who was with him in San Francisco this week, and your colleague Andre Knott, one of the things I thought was interesting was I got the sense that he's a little bit more involved in like the game day operation and decision making, whether that's making decisions about when to pull pitchers, and apparently in San Francisco, like he was so involved they had to get him out of the bullpen during games because he was too important to the decision-making process of a game for him to not be in the dugout. But how much – I think one of the things that we might be concerned about is he is a first-time manager, and this is a team that's expected to win, so there can't really be a learning curve. But based on what his roles have been, do you feel like maybe he's perhaps a bit more advanced than other first-time managers might be?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Glenn. I really don't know because I don't want to disparage anybody else that's been a first-time manager and maybe what they went through to get to that point. I think the one thing, and I can't speak of San Francisco because I really don't know.
Right.
I know with Cleveland, you hear the word collaborative a lot. That seems now to be the buzzword, isn't it, in baseball? This is a collaborative organization or a collaborative decision, but it really is here. And, the one thing Voter really maintained when he took the job and replaced Tito is that, look, you cannot tell me who to put in the lineup or make up my lineup card. If you do that, you've got the wrong guy, because if the ball club senses it in a hurry, if your players don't think you control the lineup, you're done as a manager because they don't believe in you and they don't think you have credibility. They listen, and when I say they, Voter and Elby went through the lineup decisions every day. They strategized how they would move about during the game, what moves they wanted to make. Nobody can predict how a game is going to unfold, but you're trying to prepare yourself for every scenario. And I'm sure Elby got the same guarantee, I guess might be the word, that I'm not taking this job if I don't make out the lineup. And you will listen to your people and you will listen to the analytics and everything else. But at the end of the day, the manager's got to make out that lineup, and players have to know that he's making the decisions and whatnot. So, is he better prepared? I think he's as prepared as you can be. Again, I can't compare it to a lot of other people because, Voter came in here, guys, 1 year as a coach, and it was a bullpen coach for the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
And so you really wondered when he took over here in Cleveland, how is he getting this job to not only take over a team that's been pretty darn good, but to replace a guy like Tito 1 year out of uniform? And I just think some guys have that it factor and others don't. obviously Voter has it, and I think Elby does too. Again, time will tell. You know, I did Big Ten basketball for 25 years, and, you know, I can't tell you how many times the head coach or even the top assistant would say, hey, when you move 36 inches either to your left or right, it's amazing how 36 inches makes that chair a whole lot different and decisions a whole lot tougher. And so I think there will be growing pains. There always are with first-time managers. And Voter will be the first guy to tell you he was a better manager this past year than he was his first year, and he was manager of the year. So the one thing I know about Elby, he's a quick learner. And the beauty I always thought about both Stephen Vogt and Craig Albernaz, they don't think they know everything.
Yeah.
They listen to people. They don't believe that only they have the right answers. And those are the people that are successful. The moment you think you know everything, you watch how little you know.
You know, Tom, that's so insightful. You know, Earl Weaver's autobiography, written with some help from somebody, the title was "It's What You Learn After You Know It All That Counts," and I've always ascribed to that because Earl was a great listener. Wanted to ask you this: you and I off the air the other day when I called you to do this, we both talked. You said, "What happened to Adley Rutschman?" And Glenn and I have been talking about that for about a year and a half. Is there any example that you saw with Craig Albernaz where he had to work to help somebody regain confidence, or is that too specific a question?
Well, you know what? They've really worked, you know, with Bo Naylor. And I still don't think Bo Naylor's the finished product. I think he's getting closer.
Yep.
And I think we saw him make strides, but he still has a ways to go. And I think, too, because Craig was a catcher, and he's a tremendous catching instructor. I can't tell you how lucky we've been. One, you've got a manager that was a catcher. Elby was a catcher, and there's not a better catching instructor in the game than our first base coach in Sandy Alomar Jr. So our catchers will never get better teachers than what they have here when you talk about those three guys.
And you also you have Eric Hedges too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just think a guy like Adley Rutschman, look, I think Adley Rutschman could very well next year be the best catcher in the American League. He didn't forget how to play. You know, this organization, when you talk about Baltimore, they became a completely different organization the day they brought him up from the minor leagues. Everything changed in Baltimore. Maybe I'm being too simplistic looking at it from the outside, but they were a different team. I know when we played them, I was stunned last year how he had taken a step back. But you know what? It happens. They're young players. I know how highly Stephen Kwan thinks of his former Oregon State teammate. And I just think a guy like Adley Rutschman is going to really benefit from just a different voice, and that being Craig Albernaz. And you know what happens too, guys? Elby comes in there and everybody has a clean slate. What's ever happened before, they don't care about. And I saw that here in Cleveland. As great as Tito was here and still is, there are always players that need a fresh start. And a lot of times it has to take place with a different organization. Sometimes when you make a managerial change, that new voice may be telling you the same thing, but because it's a different voice and maybe it's a different way of getting the message across, I would expect Adley Rutschman to be one of the stars in the American League again next year. He's too good to have another season like he did this year. And you know what, guys? This game was that easy. Everybody would have a great year every year. It just doesn't happen that way. And when it's all said and done, Adley Rutschman's going to be one of the best all-around catchers in baseball.
I'm really struggling with something, Tom, and I hope you understand when I say this, which is we're in Baltimore, and we are inclined to believe that everyone from the state of Massachusetts is a bad person. Like, it's just the inclination that we have, and they have played into that well, many of them over the years. There's a reason why the term masshole exists. But I am to understand from multiple people that somehow, despite his background, that Craig Albernaz is actually a really good guy. I'm still not certain that I believe it, but I am to understand that somehow he has overcome his background, his history, his heritage, and he is actually a really decent fella.
You know, Glenn, you sound a little bit like you were born in Ann Arbor and you're talking to somebody from Columbus, Ohio, or vice versa.
And he hates Duke. Tom, he hates Duke too.
I do. I have. There's few things that get me going like that.
Now, if this puts you at ease, the family now lives in Philadelphia. So, maybe that can help you a little bit. Maybe that's not good either, Glenn. I don't know. But no,
we actually,
Craig
the funny thing is, we actually don't have anything against anybody in Philadelphia, really. Not really.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, I think, too, the other thing, guys, about a guy like Elby, and I think this is really important, especially when you're talking about a guy still as young as he is getting this managerial job. Look at the places that he's worked. Those are really good organizations. Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Cleveland. Now he's heading to Baltimore. These have all been winning organizations. And, I know the Giants have had some rough patches here, but, he was with that coaching staff when the Giants, gosh, how many games did they win, guys? It was like 106, 107, and then got beat by the Dodgers in the playoffs. That was only a few years ago. So I just think you're getting a guy that I think it's important where a guy comes from organizationally. I think it's kind of the same thing as, when you trade for a player, you better be careful if you trade for a player that's only played on losing teams and don't know what it's like to have to bat in September with a game and a playoff spot on the line. Sometimes guys can put up numbers when they're playing with really no pressure. And I look at that sometimes too when you're looking towards coaches and managers and whatnot. And I'm not trying to stereotype or say that's always the case, because it isn't. But I do think it's important where a guy has been organizationally. Those are three of the best organizations in the game, or at least have been over the last 2 decades. And so I think that's critically important.
Tom, the last question I have for you is, you mentioned how fond you were of Tony Mansolino, and I grew to be kind of fond of him over the course of this year. Do you think there's any chance that he ends up in Ohio in some way, shape, or form, either in Cincinnati or possibly returning to coaching for the Guardians?
I wouldn't count it out, Stan. I asked one of our people in the organization that they think that might be a possibility. I know he was really highly regarded by our people here, and when he left, they got it. I mean, sometimes guys leave organizations, and there's maybe some acrimony or some hard feelings, and this organization, it's not perfect, but they have been really good at promoting their own people, either within or letting them advance their careers, where it was, in this case, Tony becoming a major league coach. So I know Tony is highly, highly regarded by the Guardians organization, and I would certainly think that's a possibility. I mean, Cleveland's lost 2 coaches now. Kai Correa has left to become a bench coach, and now Craig Albernaz. And I think we thought that was a possibility going into this offseason. Hey, when you're winning, and this club has won, I mean, they've been in the playoffs 7 out of the last 10 years, your people are going to be in demand. I know Matt Foreman, one of our assistant general managers, is one of the finalists to head up the Colorado Rockies baseball operation. That, to me, is always a good thing. I think you better want people that other teams desire and covet, because that means you're hiring good people. And I think you got a great one in Craig Albernaz, and I think Tony Mansolino will have a job in 5 minutes, but I think Tony is going to be able to pick and choose, because he's very highly regarded.
Tom Hamilton, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
So well deserved. An amazing career you've had, and awesome for you to be celebrated this year.
Thank you.
Let me just ask one question. What kind of day was that for you, Tom?
You know, I wish, Stan, I was more creative. Magical is the best word that I've been able to come up with for not only the day, but the week in Cooperstown. That city itself is like, you know, the Americana that has never changed in the last 50, 60 years, and that's thanks to Jane Forbes Clark, whose grandfather founded the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. It was just a magical experience for my entire family, my brothers, our friends, extended family. It's just, you know, so many times in life, the expectations of an event are actually greater than the event. This event and that week in Cooperstown blew away any expectations we ever had. And we know how blessed we've been and how grateful we are. And I mean, the day you get a Major League Baseball job is the day you won the lottery. And somehow what happened this summer in Cooperstown, you know, isn't the reason you get into this game, but like I say, we're very grateful for it and very, very humbled by it, and I don't think it has sunk in yet.
We're thrilled for you.
Yeah, so well deserved.
Incredibly well deserved.
Thank
No
you.
question about it.
Thank you,
Tom
guys.
Hamilton, thank you for spending the time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me, and happy holidays. I know it's right around the corner, and to the Oriole fans out there, don't worry. That ball club will be right back in the thick of things.
From your lips to God's ears. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks,
Tom
guys.
Hamilton, legendary play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Guardians, this year's Ford Frick Award winner, and now a Hall of Famer, the way that he will be described, like a la one Chuck Thompson, who was a former Ford Frick
John
Award
Miller.
winner. John Miller, of course, also a Ford Frick Award winner.
Stan the Fan.
A Hall of
Really?
Famer,
Yeah.
a part of the Hall of Fame committee.
The Maryland State Athletic Hall.
Like in that
Yeah.
way, you know, like, yeah, there
I'm
you
a Hall
go.
of Famer.
There you go. Stan, you going to play Pats on the Ass with us?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
All
play
right,
Pats
very
on the-
good, very good. So Griffin will get the paddle, and
Oh, okay. We're really going to play it.
you know how it works at home. You pick 5 Ravens, 2 must be offensive players, 2 must be defensive players. The 5th can be whoever you'd like, another offensive player, another defensive player, a special teamer, or a coach. You rank them 5-1, with number 1 being your man of the match. We'll go over our lists when we come back in. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs in the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
You got no Ravens game on Sunday, so you got an opportunity to just hang out inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. Just enjoy all of the games. 100-foot media wall, just steps away from the FanDuel Sportsbook. You got great drink specials and incredible food, and it's the atmosphere that there's no comparison to it. You have so many fans of so many different teams, and everybody's got their bets in, so everybody's living and dying on every play and every game. It's just such an awesome place to hang out. So this Sunday,
is there a chance you'll be hanging with Griffin Bass?
He is. We do
there from
we
time
do
to time.
know that he is a little bit of a derelict. We do know that he's got a bit of a problem.
He's not a disordered gambler yet.
No, we don't need. He doesn't need to call 1-800-GAMBLER or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Not yet. But yeah, awesome way to spend your mini buy Sunday. This Sunday inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel. All right, it's time for Pats on the Ass. You know how it works. Get yours in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Blue Sky. And if you do, you'll be registered to win a Flock Yeah t-shirt. I will start. I'll go first. My number 5 is – this was a tough one for me because, as we talk about, I think there were like 10 guys that were worthy of consideration. And one of them, apparently we don't have an updated headshot yet. Alohi Gilman is number 5 on this list. I will tell you that Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith both were left off my list, and it was difficult on both because I think they were both excellent last night. But I thought Alohi Gilman was also excellent and made arguably the biggest play of the game. As when the Ravens were sort of struggling to get their footing early on, he was the one that both ripped the ball out and then went and covered it up. And also what's lost in that's a really easy play for that ball to end up out of bounds, that you're so close to the sideline there and you're just panic, like I just want to get the ball so badly that you go to fall on it, it squirts away, and we were so close to having a fumble. You're trying to steal Griffin's fries?
Yeah. Well, he already jibbed me a few, I can tell.
As a matter of fact, I went back and gave you a couple big ones.
Look at this guy. But Alohi Gilman.
Thanks, Stan.
Number 5 on my list for last night. Stan goes next.
Okay. Number 5 for me, and it was close between Gilman. Number 5 for me, I was so excited to see Isaiah Likely finally make a couple plays that it really and all the tight ends were great last night.
But just hold it up there, I guess, is what he's telling you. You can wave it. Yeah, you can wave it at the camera. Wave it at your camera, I guess. There you go. Isaiah
Likely was my not offensive or defensive player. He was my special player.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
And I think it bodes really well for the team for him to be.
Obviously, I will tell you, none of the tight ends made my list, and they all could have been on the list.
Yeah, I couldn't pick just one, and that's why I had to go obviously to the Goose. A man who's having all his Georgia Tech records broken this year by Haynes King, George Godsey, the tight end coach, because the tight ends were probably the best position group on the field last night for either team, as the tight ends for the Ravens were targeted 9 times 9 catches, 105 yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't know how it can get much better than that. They were impacting the run game as well, obviously blocking all night and allowing Derrick Henry, who will appear on each of our lists a little bit higher, to run. Well, I don't understand what your issue is. I really don't. I don't understand how you expect. I mean, you're the one that's doing. See, here's what you're doing.
I'm sorry. Who is that?
The tight ends coach, George Godsey.
That's a great.
It's not.
Thank you, Stan.
It would be fine if there weren't someone that had to be on the list. That means that Jordan Stout's not on his list, and that's insane. Like,
see, here's the thing. You're doing 5 plays.
No, I'm not doing 5
Yes, you are.
plays
You have
at
Gilman
all.
and Stout.
No, Gilman was number 5 on my list, and he made the play that I believe is going to be number 1. So I'm not doing 5 plays. And Stout, I don't even know where the first punt might be. It was a good one, but I don't even know if it's going to make 5 plays. Jordan Stout was awesome all night, and frankly got a little gypped because the one punt that ended up being a touchback bounced at like the 14-yard line, and there was a real chance for that one to be down as well. They just didn't get down there in order
Terrible
to do
coverage.
I just don't think they realized that was going to be a play that they were going to have a chance to make. It was an adventure, obviously, in returning for Malik Washington on top of everything else last night. But Jordan Stout was awesome, plain and simple. There's an argument he should be higher on my list. But Jordan Stout has to be on the list. He's number 4. That one was one of the easier ones.
So Gilman's a defensive player for you.
Yes. Well, that's what he does. You keep trying to skip ahead of Stan, Griffin.
Go ahead, Stan. Go ahead, Stan.
You're number 4.
Stan, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is.
Let me remind you.
Teddy Buchanan.
Oh, that's good.
Teddy Buchanan. I'm really liking the way he's trending. Is he here for me?
Yep, he should be in your pile there. Darn it! I took a. I'm trying not to talk in the mic while I'm showing
right?
here.
Yeah,
that's Teddy Buchanan.
That's Mr. Buchanan. There he is. Handsome guy, rookie, and starting to make an impact.
Go ahead.
That's a great pick, Stan. I mean, there were so many guys on that deserved to be on the list, and I had to make cuts. Travis Jones, I thought, had a great game. Gilman, not on my list. Jordan Stout, not on my list. Teddy Buchanan, not on my list. I thought Marlon Humphrey had a great game as well. I went with Derrick Henry as my number 4 here. Just kind of a ho-hum, 119 yards for Derrick Henry. It just kind of didn't feel like he had a few big plays in there, obviously, but it felt like it took him a minute to get going, and then all of a sudden you looked up, and yeah, he was well over 100 yards. So Derrick Henry is my number 4, and helped them salt the game, and obviously not scoring garbage time, even though I would have my fantasy team would have preferred some more garbage time. From
Derrick Henry was my number 3, and to the point, it was a quiet 100-yard performance. But this also is sort of the Derrick Henry effect, where you got to do it for 4 quarters, and at some point you just start noticing that teams are like, I'm all right. And you heard actually, Al had a tough night last night. Al had
it's been
a tough night.
Tough couple of weeks.
Yeah, there are a lot of saying the wrong name of the team, the wrong name of a player. It was a tough night for Al, but it's still Al Michaels, and I still enjoy hearing him. And on top of that, there were things that they noticed, and they absolutely called out the Dolphins for the fact that they were guys that were just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not really interested in going to try to tackle Derrick Henry right now. But Derrick Henry was number 3 on my list.
Just because you mentioned Al Michaels, I will say this. He looks, and I'm seriously, it's very easy for me because I shave my head for not to look messy.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like ridiculous. His toupee was like...
I actually also noticed this.
And he's like wearing his thing like up here, and he just looks very disheveled. I'm sorry he's a legend, but...
I love Al Michaels, and I'm still happy to hear his voice. But and you know what else is problematic? The two of them have never gained chemistry together.
No,
and I think part of that Kirk Herbstreit should never have been in this role. He
Terrible.
has no
Terrible
cachet
choice. Yep.
for the NFL. He never played in the NFL, and he has no stories to tell. And that's what he defaults to. He defaults to when this guy was in college. That's what he has, and he's so involved. He's doing a big college football game and college game day every week, so clearly his prep time during the week
is
has
about
to
college.
lean towards the college stuff. a little bit more so
he's
than
a
the
terrible.
NFL
I
stuff.
agree with you.
This is
He adds nothing in the booth.
And then you can almost see that he knows he has nothing to add. Like when they're doing the bit last night, Al Michaels talking about the game from 25 years ago in the Meadowlands that clearly Kirk Herbstreit remembers nothing about, knows nothing about the players that were involved, could not add anything to it, and he's just awkwardly like, how about that? And I swear to God, there was nothing that was more painful than that was 25 years ago. Yes, that's
the point.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to even be mad at him because I understand he has nothing to say about it.
Right.
What else?
So what you have is sort of a fading Al Michaels with a guy who gives him no help.
100%. And so it's just
it's a terrible chemistry.
Herbstreit's making mistakes.
Right.
Al's just getting up there and is making mistakes, and it is a bad booth.
Yeah.
It's a bad booth on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Find a way to get Greg Olsen in there. That's the.
And by the way, what's the girl's name that's on the game?
Kaylee Hartung or the post game?
The post game.
Carissa Thompson.
Carissa Thompson. Very attractive. I don't usually say this. Knows virtually have zero interest.
I think she's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit
because she has to somehow get these four.
Yeah, I think some of their shtick is very forced. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to be inside the NBA, and you're
It's
not going to be inside the NBA.
It's not a good mix.
Like the Marshawn Lynch stuff, like him. I don't know if you guys stuck around long enough last night, but after game day was over,
the Travis Pastrana.
Dude, he went out and did this, like rode around in motorcycles with Travis Pastrana down in Pasadena, and like it was awesome. That was incredible content. That stuff, great, but. Oh boy, everything else they do.
I think their studio is one of the better is one of the better studios that we have.
I think they need to figure out what
crew,
I think they need to figure out what they are. I think they have not yet walked the line between doing real football coverage or just trying to be shtick, and I think it ends up being a little.
Fitzpatrick taking his shirt off because he did that every other week, and then
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm not anti-beard, but having two guys with those gigantic beards,
Whitworth
just
and Fitzpatrick.
I'm over-bearded.
I don't know. Maybe it hits
over-bearded.
for me just because they're the youngest crew as well. Like you look at the other ones and it's Cower and
they are players that
Bradshaw.
You watched recently. I actually think Richard Sherman is very good. I think he's very good. I think that the rest of them are. Like, it's weird that Tony Gonzalez, who was the one that had the most TV experience of all of them.
I also agree he might be the fourth on the depth chart.
He's really not offering anything.
No, he's really not.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, go ahead.
My number 3 is the same as Glenn's, Derrick Henry. Big game. And I thought the fact that he had a good game means that the offensive line is at least got a pulse to it. So Derrick Henry is my number 3.
My number 3 is where I will spot Roquan on this list. He did have a great game. Obviously, he came up with some big third down stops. He was obviously filling the gaps and stopping the run game, which early on I got very nervous just seeing Devon Achane again, for sitting down for the first time and actually seeing the guy that's scoring all my fantasy points this year. I thought if they kept giving it to him, that it was gonna get tough. Fortunately, they were able to get out ahead, and they weren't force feeding Achane as much as they probably should have. But when they did, Roquan was in there to help, and that's credit to Travis Jones as well. And he even looked good in coverage as well. I thought Roquan had a tremendous game, and when there was so many guys defensively, I think I just kind of defaulted to the two that are almost always the two best on the field. So Roquan is my first defensive player.
I thought Teddy Buchanan was the best defensive player on the field last night. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was all over the place. I thought that he was pursuing the ball. I just was really – this is the most impressed I've been by Teddy Buchanan. Look, he did end up making a big play, obviously, as the game went on.
And he was central to those two fumbles.
Yeah. Right, to the point, he was in on the first one.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had slowed him down before Gilman came in to strip it, but
he made the player vulnerable.
Yeah, correct.
Without having taken him down yet.
Yeah, he was still up, right.
I think he made the play. Did he make the play right before the Gilman fumble as well? Like they ran up the middle they gained like 3 yards, but
But no, I just thought that Teddy Buchanan was awesome last night. So Teddy Buchanan is my number 2. Stan?
My number 2 is Mr. Kyle Hamilton. There's no question that the Gilman trade allowed them, in place of all those great undrafted free agents that they brought onto the roster, to keep that consecutive season streak. Kyle Hamilton continues to be one of the better players in the league, and his ability to be up on the line has really buoyed this defense, beyond belief.
Kyle Hamilton's my number 2 as well. The most notable, the most notable play or sequence maybe for me was the when he went down with an injury, and I was holding my breath and like, God, we just got everyone back, and now our second best player is now down, and they had it so long that they had to go to commercial break, and then they come back, and
later.
Yes, he's literally staring right face to face with Tua the very next play at the line of scrimmage, and then injures Malik Washington, or I don't know if he got injured on that play, but he made a violent tackle on Malik Washington, so much so that everyone on the Dolphins sideline was whining for a flag, just simply because these are two guys that shouldn't be playing the same sport, because Hamilton is a foot taller than Malik Washington, and that's why it looks so it looks so impressive. Plus, the goal line fade. I mean, Devon Achane wanted nothing to do. I don't know.
I have no clue.
That's as much play call, but I don't know what that was. But it's just same thing. He's just he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Kyle Hamilton's my number 2.
Very controversial selection for me. I went with Lamar Jackson.
He makes these lists kind of boring, honestly.
That's just because you wanted to pat him on the ass.
Yeah, it's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Who'd you go with, Stan?
I went with Lamar Jackson.
Now, what the hell?
Lamar Jackson.
I went with Mr. 5-time on the Thursday night prime desk, Lamar Jackson. Well, I mean, he's the first player ever. It's the first player in NFL history to ever join the. Again, this is a studio, and this is a crew I like as well. I like seeing him interact with those guys.
There you go. Those are our pats on the ass. We'll put them up at GlennClarkRadio.com here momentarily. Continue to get me yours. Someone who sends us their pats on the ass for today will win a Flock Yeah T-shirt courtesy of PressBox.
People are willing to wear those again.
Suddenly. All of a sudden. Had someone argue for Keandre Jackson? He got a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, he's.
Said, dude is.
I had a jump scare when I see 39 Jackson last night, and I was like, oh my God, Eddie Jackson.
Right. Dude is a missile on special teams despite the penalty. I mean,
I know he's been down there. Like, he has been good. Like, he's been the first one down there, but he
wouldn't be able to crack.
Oh my God, that officiating crew was awful last night.
And then someone made an argument for Zachary Orr, in fact, getting the 5th spot on pads.
No.
Not ready.
Not
There. Not ready yet.
Maybe in a couple. Maybe after the Jets game.
All right, then we'll talk about it. Then we'll talk about it. Get me yours, and you can win that Flock Yeah T-shirt.
Am I eligible to win?
You got to send them to me on either Twitter or Blue Sky, though, Stan. You can't just be because you held them up here. That's the way that you get registered. Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of PressBox, which is available at the Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. You can go get this print issue of PressBox. You see on the cover Jim Smith, new athletic director at the University of Maryland. Great cover story from Don Marcus. College basketball season starts on Monday night, and you can meet players from every program throughout the state before the big doubleheader at the arena on Monday night. Go pick up that print issue of PressBox or read it all at PressBoxOnline.com.
Are you going to be there Monday night?
I have to work at 4 in the morning on Tuesday, so unfortunately I will not be.
What's that got to do with the games or like in the early evening?
No, the second game is at like 9 o'clock.
So the first game.
Yeah, the first
Stay
game.
up all night. What do you?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in bed by about 9 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah, but the first game.
It's 6:30. Yeah, I wouldn't be home in time to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Why, you need a date, Stan? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
Need somebody. Yeah, I'm going to go.
Okay, good for you. I would love to be there, but I got to
go.
I have to be up at 3:30 on Monday and Tuesday. So I don't even know if I'm still going to be awake at 6:30 on Monday.
Yeah. By the way, Jim Smith will be a guest on my Zoom.
Okay.
And let me give you the exact date. All right. Hold on. It's November. Hold on.
All right. In the meantime, tidbit.
Rita mentioned it on the post game last night. But Lamar now tied for the most such games, his 6th game, with 4 passing touchdowns and 5 or fewer incompletions. Lamar's 6th time doing that. He joins
Tom Brady.
Nope. Tom only did it 5 times.
What a ball.
I know, for real.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton did it 6 times as well. Peyton and Lamar. Drew Brees did it 5 times. And then so did some guy named Aaron Rodgers as well. 4 times. 4 times from Aaron Rodgers.
Heard of him.
And then because I got a good baseball one, and obviously it's the last night of the World Series with Stan in
We
here.
don't know it's the last night of the World Series.
Well,
Tomorrow
it's
could
our
be the
last
night.
day of doing World Series with Stan. Let me do that one. We got
What's your gut tell you? How does this play out next 2 nights, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, I think Kevin Gausman is a very good pitcher. I think Yamamoto is a great pitcher. If Yamamoto can win tonight, all bets are off. You know, I just don't know how it's going to play out. My gut tells me Yamamoto will pitch another brilliant game tonight. So Kevin Gausman has got to really pitch like the game of his life.
You're not telling me. I want to know how to bet. How do I bet? Do I bet the Dodgers or the Blue Jays?
I've already said that I like the Dodgers at the beginning of the
So
series.
you're saying bet the Dodgers tonight? Throw my house at it. Throw
What's
everything I have.
What's the spread on tonight's game?
It's got to be.
Dodgers are -140.
Yeah.
I would bet the Dodgers.
All right.
Dodgers are +194 to win the series.
So if you kids are wondering why there might not be a Christmas this year,
it's Uncle Stan.
Christmas will come down to whether Stan knows ball. That's
you can bet.
what this comes
You
down
can bet.
to.
So if you think the Dodgers win tonight, but the Blue Jays pull it off in Game 7, you can get that at +270.
You know, one of the interesting things about Kevin Gausman, real quick, is when you go back, and you know I'm a Dan Duquette fan, but he drafted Kevin Gausman as a #1 pick, and history has shown that he was a worthy #1 pick. The development of Kevin Gausman by the Orioles was just absolutely abysmal. And I go back to what I used to write. They never allowed him. I'm not talking about a half a season. They never allowed him to dominate in the minor leagues for 4, 5, 6 games. They just kept saying, we need Kevin Gausman up here instead of getting – and that's where the one mistake Dan made on one big signing that he had that was his own choice was the what's his name? The big pitcher from the Colorado Rockies.
Ubaldo?
Ubaldo Jimenez. Had that worked out, Gausman would have been allowed more time in the minors and would have been a terrific pitcher for the Orioles.
Yes.
We so Vladdy having a pretty good postseason.
Yes.
By all accounts, he is up to 54 total bases across the whole postseason. That is the second most by a single player in a single postseason. 54 total bases. Who has the most? There are 4 guys, so 3 others, that have hit the 50 total base threshold in a single postseason.
So this has got to be modern. Pujols.
No. Albert Pujols, the most he had was 47 in 2011.
How about
Good thing they didn't hire him as the manager.
How about Bernie Williams?
Too far back, Stan.
Too far back?
You got to have more games.
Yeah, just because of this new
the extra
era.
round
Yeah.
Now,
Okay. George Springer.
Not George Springer. That's a good guess. What's the most
Altuve.
Springer. No Altuve. Altuve most he had 46 in 2019. Altuve. Springer had 44 in 17.
Bregman?
No Bregman.
What about Alvarez?
No Jordan.
Seager.
Yes, Corey Seager in 2020.
Good one.
I wonder where he's at in
Glenn,
2030.
good
He
one.
had
Wasn't
40
there like a whole extra round in 2020?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
I feel like
it's
20
the current. It's the current format.
It is
yeah,
the current
yeah.
format, all right.
Right? Or do they
I
have
thought
like
there might
8
have been a
teams? I think there was no
whole-
first round bye, so now they have like the first round bye for the top 2 teams. But Seager had 45 in 23 and then 50 in 2020. There is another player from the 2020.
Lord. Arozarena.
Randy Arozarena has the record 64 total bases in the 2020 postseason.
He was unbelievable, man.
As a rookie.
I had
him and Brett Phillips was close though. Brett Phillips. I think 2.
I had a Rosarina that year pegged as a guy nobody knew about him coming into the season, and
like before
I
the
had
world
him
shut down.
Before our fantasy draft.
Okay.
and then the season was canceled.
Yeah.
And then we ended up having a draft that year of American and National. I never got him. And then he had that amazing year.
And then you couldn't
So he
get him,
went
yeah.
for like $30
Yep.
the next year.
Yep.
So Pujols had 47 in 2011. A teammate of his had 50.
50.
2011. God.
A teammate of his? In the
Teammate in
playoffs?
2011.
So he was with the Cardinals.
Cardinals,
then.
yes.
God, I can't.
It's not
remember.
Yachty.
How about
Oh, David Freese.
David Freese, 50.
David Freese, who was, of course,
50 total bases.
Postseason icon.
Yeah, held that
Kirk
record.
Herbstreit would have known nothing about
Yeah,
it.
right?
I don't know.
David
Kirk's a
Freese.
baseball guy. He's a baseball guy.
All right, very good. Let's get Tubular for the weekend. Tubular brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. For me, it's been peptide treatment, and it's been a game changer. For others, it might be performance issues in the bedroom.
Qadry Ismail would probably say,
It's been a game changer, Stan, because we love what they do at Game Day Men's Health.
Qadry
the
Ismail
sponsor
knows,
that we're currently doing a read for.
Qadry Ismail knows nothing
Exactly
about
right.
anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoo boy! If you are low T, they've got treatment plans for you. And first, you can just find out if you're low T. They give you a free testosterone test when you call 443-264-4454. That's Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, 443-266-3505 in Columbia, or 240-931-3717 in Frederick. Busy weekend, as we mentioned.
And we can't watch any of it.
What?
I assume everyone has YouTube TV like me.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say something? I've known Glenn Clark for, 15 years? Something like that.
Yeah. Sorry,
I've
Stan.
never seen him more energetic than he is since he started with the peptide treatment.
Well played, Stan.
Yeah.
We might just save this yet. Tonight, Game 6 of the World Series on Fox. Yamamoto and Gaussman, as Stan mentioned. If there's a Game 7, it will be tomorrow night at 8. And they still haven't announced it, but we know that it would be
Tyler
Glasnow and Scherzer. Yeah. Unless, I guess, they go 18 innings tonight, and then they need to use those pitchers.
That'd be perfect.
We'll see. Tomorrow, Indiana, Maryland, 3:30 on CBS. Navy, North Texas at noon on ESPN2. Morgan's at South Carolina State at 2 on ESPN+. Towson's at North Carolina T at noon on Flow Sports. Stevenson at home tomorrow. Hopkins on the road at Muhlenberg. The Breeders' Cup is this weekend. The Breeders' Cup Classic is 6:25.
What sport is that?
Horse racing.
Horse racing?
Yeah.
Really?
They've been doing it for a long time. The Classic's slated for 6:25 on NBC tomorrow. And on Sunday, the local TV games, CBS has a doubleheader. Colts Steelers at 1, Chiefs Bills at 4:25, Fox Vikings Lions at 1, and the Sunday night game on NBC, Seahawks Commanders at 8:20. Everything else, go to GlennClarkRadio.com. Anything non-sports wise?
No.
Okay.
Oh, Miles Teller will be hosting SNL.
All right.
With Brandy Carlisle as the musical guest.
God, how many times has Brandy Carlisle been the musical
I don't know.
guest on
She's
SNL?
got like a residency there.
It's like whenever if she just waves, they're like, "Hey, come over and do the show." And I don't even dislike Brandy Carlisle. I like her. It's just weird how many times she gets
Celebrity
to be
Wheel
the
of Fortune
guest.
tonight.
No, okay, all right, so nothing then. All right, thanks to Stan at Stan the Fan. Monday, you know what time?
Monday at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
And by the way, that Jim Smith interview on Zoom will be November 11th
Okay.
at 4 o'clock
There you go.
in the afternoon.
There you go.
And I thank Jason Yellen for helping us set that up.
Very good. Thanks today to Tom Hamilton. Thanks also to Qadry Ismail. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Sure you don't want to see Candace Parker, Dwight Howard, and Rich Eisen
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. We will. The Bat Around is back this weekend, but it'll be if the series ends tonight, it'll be tomorrow.
Got it.
If the series goes to 7, they're going to do it on Sunday morning. So just depending on the result of the baseball game tonight for when the Bat Around will be. And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, High's Dairy Stores, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, Nick's Fish House, Live Casino and Hotel, the Costas Inn. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great weekend. Go Maryland, go Navy, go Towson, go Morgan. Duke sucks.